There's a lot of things people think about and think they want to do when they're going to sell their house, but what are some of the biggest mistakes these people make when they're going to sell their house?
Well, it has to do a little bit with the time of year, maybe what the economy's doing. So let's say right now, as we're approaching the spring market pretty soon, you say, well, maybe that's a good time to sell it. So what do you think? Is spring a good time to sell it?
Spring, I think, is probably top of mind. Most people's thought of,
Why?
let's sell it.
But why?
Well, you're shaking the bushes of cleaning out the garage. You're thinking everybody's getting out there doing their flower beds, everything. More people are just out and about enjoying the beautiful weather and maybe looking to buy a home.
Okay, so what are the big mistakes sellers make right now? Well, I'll tell you what I'm running into. We just came off of a crazy market for the last 3 or 4 years where you have 5 buyers for every house. So if that's the case, then supply and demand, the house prices are selling for a premium. In many cases, 10, 20, 30,000 over. But now that the interest rates are up around 7, people are a little bit more cautious. So I think what you got to remember is that whenever we sell a home in today's market as a seller, 70% of the time, someone has to actually get a home loan. And so pricing is critical because if we overprice it, then we lose market time. And what's the first thing people think if the house is on the market too long? And I mean too long being 35, 40 days.
What's wrong with the house? Why is it sitting so long? It didn't sell in a week.
And all that really happened is your advisor didn't give you the best information to price it more realistically. I think a lot of times as a seller, you worry that you can't ever come up.
Yeah, you can't backtrack your money.
Yeah, so start high, we can always come down,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But what happens when you do that
You
from
lose
your
the-
experience?
You lose the newness to the market, which is 100% your power because there's so few options for
But
a buyer.
we're not in a hurry. We're just like at the right time, we'll sell it.
It's
We're
true.
not in a big hurry to give it away and lose money.
Yeah.
So that's our perception, right?
Right, I
So
agree.
what the reality is what?
The reality is there's not a whole lot of inventory, and what that means is homes available to prospective buyers. So there's 3 contributing factors to a home sale. You got condition of the property, where it's located, which is a given. We can't pick it up and move it.
True.
And then where you choose to price it based on those 2 other factors. And what I find is if you are very smart about how you price it based on the condition and location, it often sells at asking or over, or at least in a timely fashion. Now, if you miss on one of those marks, that's when you see it sitting for a little while and the question mark of what's wrong with it.
So in the market we're in right now, Dom, we talk about the newness to the market. Explain to the listener what that means.
Yeah, well, with how competitive everything was, it hits the market, all eyes are on it in those first few days. That's when it's new to the market, everybody's excited about it, and that's kind of where your biggest power is with the most buyer pool at those first 3 to 5 days.
So if that's the case, then a lot of times, what we find is it drives the price up some. So as a seller, you want to get as much as not I say or you think, it's whatever the market will bear. So that's really the art of it. And then the local expert here would help you to see how to position the property correctly so you don't leave money on the table. And that's really the bottom line, is to work with a professional, someone that knows local market data. You hear the headlines all the time. They don't really clarify, they just more terrify you. And so it's hard, in today's times to find the truth about what's going on. So I think if you're working with a professional that really gets it, they can inform you so you make the right decision, you maximize your opportunity when you go to sell your home. If you want to reach out to one of these gentlemen and get more details, how do we reach you?
Call or text me 330-234-6204.
Zip.
My cell phone's 330-933-3258.
Or 330-418-1535. Call or text. Check out our more than 500 5-star reviews at DominicFonte.com.